Now our destination is Oklahoma City's Civic Center Music Hall, where Brent Winters and his staff are preparing the stage for a performance of the Oklahoma City Philharmonic.
Well, you can see these huge doors, and there's a reason behind all this, because these are called sound locks, and every set of doors in the auditorium have two sets of doors, so you have a sound space in between to keep it very quiet. So we can walk in here when the stage is completely bare, and the concert system is all the way down, the shaper is down. Once again, that's a 54-ton piece. But we can walk in here, and just with 4 people, we can set the shell up within an hour and a half. Probably in any configuration of the shell. It only takes that shaper 10 minutes to go up to position. Okay, going together. It's lifted by 2 large winch motors that will pick that whole piece up, and then once it's up, we can roll these sidewalls out to wherever we need them, and then we deploy the shell, the orchestra ceiling acoustic pieces, and depending on that configuration, they just drop into the shell like you see out here now. Once the shell is up, it takes another 4 people, probably another hour, to set the entire orchestra.
The band shell's purpose is to project the sound on stage into the audience. Once it's in place, the lights are adjusted and any special audio settings are made.
If you want to step through here, turn on a little light for you. This is all our control. This is our video. And over here we have our lighting console. It's all digital, as you can see, the screens. He has to watch his screens, tell what he's doing.
Yeah.
And welcome to my office. This is my pride and joy up until next week.
Really?
We're updating with digital console next week.
So what do y'all do here with this?
I mix each mic, like we have drums. I'll mic the kick drum, I'll mic the snare, the hi-hat, the toms, stuff like that. I'll mix them together and with the guitars and bass, mix them together, you know, so one doesn't override the other. And somebody does a lead on, like on a guitar, I'll pump him up just a little bit. When he's done, I'll pull him back down, and it sounds great. It's a fun job. When you feel good about your mix, you know that person down there is feeling good because they're hearing and watching a good show.
Now, the Civic Center staff and the Philharmonic staff are separate, but they work very closely together, right?
Yes, it's a very good partnership, and the reason when you say separate, it's just the fact that the building and the shell and those things all belong to the city and the Civic Center, and then all the risers and chairs and everything like that is the Philharmonic's. A stage in general is always a construction area, and that's a good way to look at it. In this particular construction area, we can build so many beautiful things, and we find more applications for everything. We've been in here 9 seasons now, and it amazes us with how many different applications we come in for this space, this shell. It was done very, very well. I mean, it's really a gift to the community to have this space.
There is an enormous amount of preparation that goes into putting on a performance here at the Oklahoma City Philharmonic. Joining us is the music director for the Philharmonic, Mr. Joe Levine.
Hello, Robert.
Thank you for joining us.
A pleasure.
What goes on in your day to prepare for this performance?
Well, people will be a little disappointed to hear that basically you sit at home in casual clothes and study music. I mean, it's a job, and in many ways it's a great job. I'm paid to study the great works of art in the field of classical music. I only have 4 rehearsals. 4 rehearsals is not a lot of time. It's a 2.5-hour rehearsal, and there's a 15-minute break. So the working time is 2 hours and 15 minutes. And you have 4 of those, and then you have the concert. And that's the same schedule that the greatest orchestras in the world will follow. The Philadelphia Orchestra, the Chicago Symphony, the Vienna Philharmonic. It's not a lot of time. Tonight is the dress rehearsal. So what we'll do is we will, before we do each piece, I will give them final notes. So any comments I have from things that have accumulated till now, we'll talk about before we play the piece. We may even rehearse a few spots, but then we're going to run them. Now the idea is to connect the dots and make the piece get up and walk.
Saturday, it's the real thing. The ushers are volunteers and they meet early to talk over any last-minute changes, and then it's off to their posts. Concessionaires quickly set up and the cash bar is pulled into place. The rack is stocked with programs as the box office opens. The excitement is building in the house and backstage as the musicians begin to arrive.
You know, it's very exciting. We do 4 or 5 rehearsals and a concert on a week where we perform, and by the time the performance comes, you really get pretty involved, and usually we have a good experience.
Just knowing what the composer wants to communicate and you having his or her words and playing and just communicating to the audience is just the greatest feeling I can live. This is just the thing that moves my life and makes me be ready to keep going every day.
All of those little details that we've been looking at trees, and we progressively pull back until we have the forest. For me personally, the joy is to play the greatest music that the world has known, and to play it with terrific musicians. And we're very fortunate with the Philharmonic because we have the world's greatest guest artists. I mean, the people that play with the Philharmonic as soloists are the same people that play Carnegie Hall and the Kennedy Center and all over the world. So to have them on the stage with us inspires the musicians, it inspires me. It's a lot of fun. It's pressure, but it's a combination of pressure and extreme reward, and that's what makes the job such a unique job.
As soon as the last curtain call is over, the work lights come on and they break it all down and begin to set up for the next show. Whether it's the Philharmonic, the Aquarium, or the Gun Museum, it's the hard work of skilled professionals that make the productions possible. If you'd like more information about these events and others in Oklahoma, check out the links on our website. The address is www.oeta.tv. Until the next State Line, I'm Robert Birch. Thanks for joining us for this peek behind the curtain.